Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some Chinese expressions using its ancient characters that rooted in the ancient way of living and try to recapture or reapply itself to the newest technologies. And today we're going to talk about machine learning, 机器学习. Machine is Chinese way to say 机器,机器 is a Chinese way to say machine, and 学习 is a Chinese learning concept. And you can see, okay, in English, machine, just one word, but Chinese have to use two characters to mean machine. And 学习, again, English, just one word, means learning, means learn, the act of learn, right? But Chinese have to use 学 and 习. Two characters. I guess, up till today, I have to hear like 机学, like that's too confusing. So I guess for big concepts like machine learning, it becomes a specific term, right? So Chinese came up with this explicit, like there was no abbreviation for it yet, because probably one day, when it becomes such a common thing adopted into everyday life, and then things get further simplified. Till then, we use full-spelled expressions, which is normally in Chinese language formation, two characters to lock down into the exact meaning, because 机 or 气 each can mean multitudes of things. And we have this contextual meaning-making process in Chinese, like for multitudes of each character, when the two of them pair together, then it's kind of a lock. It's almost like a password, right? So when the two meet together, and then it locked down into a particular meaning. So 机器 together has no confusion of the other meanings that potentially derived from each of this character. But when the two pair together, it means specifically machine. And 机器, when Chinese hear it, it doesn't necessarily mean computer at all. It simply means things people made, like tools. But okay, when we're talking about tools or 工具, it's more like gears, like small stuff. Like 机器 can be big, huge. It's more generic, but tend toward the bigger, more complicated machines or toys humans made. Okay, so that's 机器. And 学习, and again, why Chinese use two characters to mean just one thing? You see, when I translate, I have a problem translating it. One is learn, I have to say a different word to it, because otherwise, why the two characters even exist? Just one is enough to hold the function to mean learn, right? So actually, 习 means review. So in Chinese understanding, to learn something, you have to keep relearn it. It's a continuation. It's not like once you know about something, you know it. You don't need to do it again. No, Chinese regard learning process as this repetitive process. You learn actually means for the first time, learn, right? 学 is the initial understanding or introduction to a concept. And the 习 means you revisit. Actually, that's how machine learns. It's no different. So machine learning in today's, I guess, mainstream machine learning was based on this human neural network, right? That's how humans learn, which is in machine learning lingo will be iteratively learning to get closer to produce better output, either as better classification of things or coming up with a better next word to use. So however, but it's training machine to learn something. And we don't see that process of learning, relearn, but actually in its own building of such machine learning, it involves like thousands, millions of times of repeating until it gets it just right. Okay, so this 学习 actually Chinese already captured this relearn. This re is the key here. All right. 机, we came across this character a few episodes, like 2 episodes ago, when we talked about computer. So computer, we translate as 计算机. So this is the 机. And in today's episode, I translated as mechanic because we have qi after it. So 机器, when I combine together to make sense to English speakers, I have to come up with a different way to describe it. So both of them are kind of mechanical things humans made, so man-made things, but there is a major distinction between the two. One I translate as a utensil, because utensil implies its function as a container, like it can contain, and cooking utensil is the most often used utensil application here. So it's something that you can use to scoop things or hold things, right? So you can see these four, almost like 4 cups, but this is a mouse symbol. So 4 mouse symbol over there. And in the middle, actually, is a dog symbol. According to scholars, so we're diving into qi first here. Utensil means almost like when we excavate a tomb. Okay, imagine thousands of years, thousands of generations, and not thousands, hundreds of generations. Wait, is it hundreds? Yeah, maybe not hundreds, because 100 years may convert into 4 to 6 generations, right? So it's like a big scale down. So if it's thousands, it's probably a couple of hundreds. No, like tens. Not that many, maybe 100 at most, right? 100 at most generations of people. Wait, okay, I'm not doing math right now. It's too. So these generations of wealth buried underground, and Chinese had such a tradition. So this tomb digging, grave digger, probably was a profession back then. I guess in the West as well, right? Grave digging was a thing. And this dig out utensils. I mean, here, this mouse symbol means something that you need to feed to people. I mean, one way to read it is the dog. Ancient times, dog was meat source, okay? I know it's hard to hear on the contemporary ears of pet lovers, but dog was made into our cuisine back then. And 4 mouths next, I mean, the dog in the middle, what do you think is happening? It's almost like we're looking at a carnival mechanism right there, but it's dog eating ceremony. That's one interpretation. Second interpretation is such utensils that's used to feed, because eating probably kind of a ceremonial eating, tools or containers to hold food, that was watched by dog because they were highly valued or important to the family. The dog we have to assign to a guardian to those utensils. So dog in there is a guardian, not a food source. 2 different readings, but it's related to feeding ourselves in this container. And this container is the tool that we made. So qi eventually means, ancient containers. Contemporarily, we make glass containers or plastic containers, but in ancient times, such food containers probably made from cast iron, which was quite a endeavor and expensive. So ancient probably cookware or eating utensils were heirloom pieces, and they worth of this guardian. So qi then means such man-made containers, right? And qi actually means man-made mechanisms that's not for food eating. So both of them are man-made stuff, but the qi is more related to feeding, for containing food. But the qi is more healing, actually. This is a sign that's used. It came from this bow shooting, this empowered, powerful bow or archery device that have this 4 circles connected a trolley system to multiply its power. And then there is this tiny little human figure that looks like this. And then this pokey thing was the ancient weaponry. So together it's like a weaponry empowered, energy multiplied or amplified weaponry used by, I mean, still have to be triggered by human because weaponry back then, at least, it doesn't automate yet. So humans have to pull the trigger, but it was amplified. And the left side here is a wood symbol. So that means this whole mechanism was made from wood, or majority wood. So together it described this, super power, long distance archery weaponry. So this weapon making, and this is food making, not food making, food containing, both point to the ancient technology of, humans making stuff, right? So this, because of its trolley system, probably it's more mechanically complicated. Eventually, it means trigger, or it means this mechanical component of it. So in this context, qi and qi together, it means if we're applying this term in a context of computer, this qi almost like it's a container, it's a storage of information, right? And this qi almost like it has this mechanism of computing, like inside there are routes, the numbers run or something like that, right? The algorithm embedded in this container of information. So that's a Chinese response to today's computer specific 机器, but in general, 机器, when we hear it, it's simply man-made big mechanical stuff. And it could be mechanical engineering and electronic engineering like together, more complicated tools. Those are also called 机器. Okay. And actually, when we say robots, right, we translate as a 机器人. It's man-made moving parts with 人, like a humanoid looking thing, right? It's a machine, but machine person, it means robot in Chinese. So, okay, 学习, we have this big-headed child symbol. So this is a torso of the child because for toddlers, their legs are not a main feature yet. Their arms are more expressive when they need help, right? That's arm use, and this big head. So that's child. And the top 3-finger hand symbol reaching top down. That means it's from the perspective of, it's not your hand, it's somebody else's hand. So there is this cross-generational teaching. Teaching is involved. I mean, learning involved with teaching. So that's the teacher side. So 2 hands holding down, right? Reaching down. And this arch means it's a safe space. It's not, they are not learning in the wilderness, but they're learning in this man-built structure, safe place. And this crosses, there are 2 interpretations of crosses. One is the intricate roofing structure. If you visit, I guess, Japan, they have still some ancient Chinese way of building the roofs, kind of extended, make it into kind of a flying shape of roofing. This intricate wood lock structure, interlocking woodwork over there, expresses by those 2 crosses stacking up. And another way of interpreting it is, okay, this roofing, simply because this safe space, but also people make it almost like a temple because only it's kind of like church in the Western society. So church easily be the most elaborate building in the community, right? So ancient Chinese temples easily be the most elaborate because it's a pooled resources from the whole community, not individual household, right? But this roofing structure, almost like a temple looking intricate roofing, that means if it's not a church, it's like a second best building in the community. That's how Chinese value education. Community would pool resources to build such elaborate roofed temple looking, it's like a temple of knowledge, right? To put their kids in it. So that's one interpretation. Second interpretation, this simply means network of knowledge. So it's like two hands, like your previous generation holding this network of knowledge, handing down to the young child in that safe environment. I mean, isn't that whole image beautiful to capture what learning is about? It's cross-generational information transferring. Okay, all right, and xi came from this bird learning to fly. So you can kind of visualize these are two wings of little birds, right? When I say little, it's implied by this symbol. This means white. Okay, this means white because it came from like it's a little bit stretch. Okay, so this is our sun symbol, a sphere with horizontal line, the energy from it. And then if you have one stroke above it, that means the sun ray. So it kind of similar looking like that, but now it looks like a mouse symbol. So I don't know, like maybe there is this transferring of icons to another icon, but it was interpreted as this, as the sun emitting the sun ray, which is the color of white. So that's how Chinese define white. And white wings simply means young birds learning to fly, which through a lot of trials and errors, right? That's how birds learn. Those muscles and nerves have to build, practice, repeat mistakes again and again to finally master the skill of flying. It's probably just like humans have to fall again and again to learn the skill of walking. So that's the learning process, means repeatedly trying, as if it's a little bird learning to fly. Again, poetic and beautiful. So that's Chinese learning. We packed into two, the initial cross-generational, like the whole goal of purpose, or almost like a ceremonial or tradition in it. And the other one is repeating like a young bird, have this beginner mind and keep repeating, drilling, not afraid of failure, all that packed into this 学习. And 机器学习 simply is today's machine learning. And this machine is no other than computer machine. So it's not, it's unlike any of the other human-made tools. Computer got this superpower that goes beyond the mechanical or electric tools people used to make, because it got this digitized power. And here is, if you want to search on YouTube, it's neural network 3D simulation of how this machine learning looks like. And in here, it's probably convolutional neural network. That's, you can see layers and layers of neurons connected to see this handwritten character. This is number 6, to guess like which is more likely to be the correct word, the correct digit of it. And from the 0 to 9, 10 numbers, numerics, and machine have to decide, continually build and rebuild, learn, relearn, and through these layers of networks to come up with the right answer. And computer, when because they're so fast and it can store so much information, eventually they get it right. But that's just like human learning. We have lots of relearn, and now machines are repeating that process. And we can, I guess, through looking at how machine learn to figure out how we actually learn. So it's like a mutual learning. Anyways, 机器学习 is Chinese response or recapturing of what machine learning in today's hot word is about. All right. Thank you for your time. See you another time.